So, well, let's kind of jump into some of the questions that I have. So I want to talk about the business. I want to talk about this amazing business that you've built. So can you tell us what Teami Blends is and what inspired you to create the brand?
Of course. Teami Blends, the way I would describe it, is a lifestyle brand that creates wellness and skincare products inspired by the health benefits of tea. Mm-hmm. And we really focus on how tea can be incorporated into an inside-out approach to wellness and beauty, and really modernizing tea by blending it into skincare and blending it into wellness products, and not, taking really the wisdom and the benefits of tea and putting it into everyday use.
Yeah.
And what really inspired the business was when I was in the military, I started developing some terrible digestive issues. I had a very sensitive stomach, and the food in the military cafeteria was made in the masses. Yeah. So it's not organic or fresh, and it's not cooked with coconut oil, of course. It's cooked with canola oil. And over the period of the 2 years that I was in the military, my body just shut down to the point where I was going to the bathroom once a week.
Wow.
Yeah, which is really terrible for your digestion. Yeah. It's terrible for your health. It's terrible. It causes breakouts, mood swings. It causes energy ups and downs, because your body is not getting rid of stuff. It's not, that's the way it's supposed to function. And I looked like I was 4 months pregnant. Like, I just was bloated like a balloon. I was uncomfortable. I could barely wear anything other than my uniform and yoga pants without feeling extremely uncomfortable in my own skin. And I was 22. And I was like, this isn't right. Yeah. And I was trying a lot of different things. I ate more fiber, drank more water. My post in the military was a fitness instructor. So I felt like I'm supposed to be the epitome of health, but I can't figure out my own problem. And I really tried within the constraints of the military to fix it. And I did see small improvements. I ended up doing a colonic, where they stick a tube up your butt and they pull out, they literally pull out waste that has been building up in your body. Yeah. And that was my first like light bulb. I was like, how is so much coming out? Number one. And number two, this is really unpleasant. Like, I don't want to get to a point where I need to go to a clinic and they try to make it feel like it's a massage and put like candles on, but it's not. Someone's sticking a tube up your butt. It's not fun. And I had that experience, and it didn't even relieve my symptoms anyway. It wasn't a solution. Right. It was like a Band-Aid fix for maybe a day or two. Right. And it just didn't solve the problem at its root core. Right. So when I finished the military, I moved back to Florida, moved in with my mom. I was 22 at the time. And I started reading books, chiropractic books, holistic nutrition books, naturopathic books, and a lot of books about poop, the digestive system, the gut health system, and how it affects the body. And I started cooking for myself, and I started to see improvements, which was great. But still, every time I would go to a restaurant or I would eat anything that I didn't cook for myself, I would have a problem. And I just still felt like I had a backup of waste, like years of toxic waste in my system. So what I did is I read these books, and a lot of them pointed to tea and tea ingredients and herbs and plants. I said, wonderful, I can get these ingredients at the store. And I went to Whole Foods, and, you go to the tea section, and there's a lot of tea, yogi tea, all these great teas. Yeah. And they're usually like $5 to $8. And they'll say like detox, cleanse, this, herbal cleanse, liver cleanse. I bought all of them. Yeah. And I drank them all, and none of them did anything. They were yummy, but they didn't like create some sort of detoxifying effect in my body, which I was expecting them to create. Yeah. And at that point, I started researching more about these ingredients and found out that the efficacy of the ingredients depends on where the tea is grown, how it's grown, and how it's retrieved, how it's packaged. And that's what really led me to create our first product, which was our 30-day detox program, which is what really inspired the company.
So tell us a little bit about the 30-day detox program. First of all, I have seen a bunch of different celebrities post about it. So you are well known within the world. I know you guys have a very popular Instagram account. You have over 1 million followers on Instagram, lots of people talking. If you just do a search for Teami Blends online, you see tons and tons of posts. Can you talk about the 30-day detox and what it can do for people, and then just kind of more holistically the line of products that because now you have so many different kinds of products.
Absolutely. So yeah, I created this detox program, which is a tea that you drink in the morning, usually to replace coffee. You don't have to get rid of coffee, but I suggest to try to do a little detox from coffee at that time, and a tea that you drink at night before bed. And the combination of these teas, the morning tea is almost like a morning kickstart, gives you energy, helps you with nutrients. It's just a great way to start your day, help you feel awake. And then the tea at night helps you cleanse the colon, which is the organ that really holds up all of this waste in your body. And it's a gentle cleanse. It is natural. It's 100% vegan. And there's nothing about it that would, there's no drugs involved. There's nothing invasive going on. It's just a natural cleanse. And the process of doing this for 30 days while you're still eating, this isn't a fast or a juice cleanse, really helps to detoxify your body. And that could be different for every single person. For me personally, I had so much poop come out of me. I was so shocked. I was like, how, where is this? And usually around day 15 or day 10, you start feeling so light, so much more energy, because you've gotten rid of tons of waste, right? And so, a lot of people, the first thing that they see is a reduction of bloating and the stomach discomfort, which is what I personally had issues with: digestion, bloating, stomach discomfort. And so this program, it really helps you with what you need. Everyone's different. Somebody might be, coming back after having a kid, and the detox will be what their body needs to really give them a kickstart that they need. For me, it was all around bloating, gut health, and digestion. And the benefits are just giving your body a kickstart and a clean slate, and giving your gut health a chance to work without any toxins and additives in the body.
And so the 30-day detox, you said that you drink the tea at night. Is that sort of a gentle overnight thing, or is this something that's kind of immediate? You drink it and that evening you are running to the bathroom. Is that, or
it's
is it
usually it's an overnight thing,
right?
And we always recommend to steep the colon tea for 1 to 5 minutes and then take it out of the mug, because the longer that it's in the water, the stronger it will be. So when I drink it, I leave it in the mug forever, 30 plus minutes, because my body's used to it. But if you're brand new and you've never done a detox before, kind of easing into it is important. But then really increasing your steep time, because you're going to get more and more results the more and more you let it steep, because that's the stronger that it is. But I had, in the beginning, I was waking up at like 5 a.m, having to go to the bathroom. But that just goes to show how much waste I had. That's not the same for everybody. And especially if you start slow, this is not a detox that we want to disrupt your life. But you will be going to the bathroom. That is the purpose of it. And so expect to go to the bathroom.
Right. So in terms now, so the 30-day detox was your first product that you had, but since then you have skincare products. You have a lot of different products. Can you talk about how the brand has evolved from that original 30-day detox to what you are offering up today, which is a ton of different products?
Absolutely. So we started with a 30-day detox because that was what my pain point was. And when we launched the brand, we all launched it with 3 other teas as well. But we never felt, my business partner and I, we never felt that we were a tea company. You know, we're called Teami Blends, but we're not like a Tazo tea or a Harney and Sons. Like, we never felt that our goal in life is necessarily to get people to switch from coffee to tea, or that we were a tea company. We were more of a health company or a lifestyle company. And so we continued to add more tea blends to our product line. I think we got up to like 10 or 15 additional tea blends, which are all on our website now. And they were great, and people were buying them, but the percentage of people that were buying them was so much less than the detox. And anytime that we would promote another tea with influencers or in marketing, it just wouldn't sell because it wasn't solving a problem for the customer. You know, tea, a tea like a relaxation tea or a chai tea is a nice tea to have, but it's not a must. Oh my gosh, I have this problem. I need to buy this product right now.
Yeah.
So we had noticed that, man, the real big seller is the 30-day detox. We had come out with accessories for it. So these fun tumblers that you could drink the tea on the go. We have over 20 different colors. And it was really gaining a lot of traction. But after people did the detox, maybe they would buy some of the other teas, but and then they would continue to buy the detox when they needed it. Right. But it kind of ended there. Yeah. And I felt, as a business owner, I felt vulnerable because if the detox tea was not popular anymore, which happened, or if it got attacked, which it happened, how would the company survive if all my eggs are in this basket of just this one product? And I saw that ahead of time. I was concerned about that. So we had this great community on Instagram. So I asked them, like, what other problems do you guys have? I didn't say tea. I didn't say anything. I was like, what problems do you guys have aside from digestion and bloating that you would like for us to fix? Yeah. And they said acne. That was what they said. And I was like, okay, well, I've never made skincare before, but I can try and we can see what happens. Yeah. So I got with a local factory in Clearwater, which were actual friends of mine that had this very small factory. It's now very large. And we formulated the very first 2 skincare products, which is our green tea detox mask and our green tea facial scrub, which are still the green tea detox mask, which you have at home, is still our #1 best-selling skincare product. Wow. Yeah. And there's other ones that rival it, like our Vit C serum, but the green tea detox mask, there's just it just works. It pulls out all the blackheads, from the pores. It's gentle. It helps with acne. It's just kind of like, it's just effective and it's awesome. Yeah. And so we created these 2 products, launched them. They had a good response and it kind of looked strange. You should have seen our website, like tea, tumblers, and 2 skincare products, like looked really random. Like, well, who are we? And like, what are we doing? And where is this company even going? Like, I remember it looked really odd. It looked really strange. And then we launched some more facial oils. And at that point, this was early 2018, we got interest from Ulta for our skincare. Yeah. And they put our skincare products into like 3,000 doors. And that was when I knew that I had to continue to create more skincare products because I needed to like build out this story, build out this line. Yeah. And because, Teami is not a brand with invested capital, we work with what we have. I would make one product at a time. I wasn't able to make a full line and have it all be ready. I was like, okay, the next product, we need to make a serum. We need to make a vitamin C serum. So we added that. And then we added a toner. And then we added, but sometimes it would take 6 to 12 months to formulate one skincare product. So there's a constant work on new products. And that's still the way that we work today. Yeah. And skincare started doing well. We started to like position ourselves more as like inside out beauty and wellness, tea infused skincare, because we had more products. And then in early 2019, we were also just listening to our customers, and they're talking about, well, after I do the detox, what do I do for my health then? And then that's how we came out with our greens superfood powder, which was like the first ever powder. And that one just took off. Wow. And it worked really well in marketing as well, because it's around like, do you have struggle eating enough vegetables? Here you can get 16 superfoods in one scoop. It was an easy problem solution. And then we just went down that line. We came out with some protein powders. We came out with our beauty butterfly collagen, gut love probiotic. We came out with a electrolyte powder. And so we just add, as you know, here and there, more to each collection each time, to really give that rounded approach of inside out wellness and beauty. And the Teami customer can get what they need.
It's first of all, it's so unbelievable that you've done all of this without investment. So you've grown your business. You have how many SKUs?
Almost 100 probably.
And you've built this business with tons of people who are following the brand, loving the brand, buying the brand without investment. It's just kind of astounding. What do you see as your kind of goal for what you're trying to do with the company? You've talked about how you kind of evolved a bit to thinking about, yes, it's tea, but it's really about wellness from inside out, right? Health and wellness from inside out. Where do you see the company going in terms of where you want to take it next?
I would love to continue to serve the community with more products in all the categories. The skincare, I would love to branch out into hair care and body care as well. And continue to add more products into the wellness line, and really just listen to our customers, listen to what they need and want. And the overall goal, I think, would obviously be to sell the business at the right time to someone that can grow it maybe bigger and better than I can, because I only have so much experience and so much knowledge, running the business that I've run so far.
Well, it's unbelievable what you've achieved. And certainly this is your first business, right? Out of the gate. You said 24 when you started your business. So it's not like you had an enormous amount of experience before you started this, and you have basically a hit right on your hands. This is a great business you've built. So take us back a little bit, because I always like to hear from women like you who have done something really incredible and in such a short time, right? A relatively short time. What were you like as a child? What kind of person were you? If you think about, 10-year-old Adi, would you have thought that this is what you would be doing?
I don't think I would have thought that this is particularly what I would be doing, but I do think that I always saw myself as like a leader or someone that liked to be in charge. And I think that has a lot to do with how my mom raised me, with a lot of love and a lot of confidence. She never told me that I couldn't do something or that something was out of my grasp or I shouldn't try, and not making me cautious and scared. So, which is good and bad. I make a lot of mistakes because I'm kind of naive. I'm kind of like, let's do it. And then it kind of like falls apart. But sometimes I have that very clean approach to something without a lot of internal stops. For example, that's how we got into Ulta. I was like, I'm going to email Ulta and see if we can get into their stores. And I emailed them for 6 months. And after 6 months, they responded and we got into their stores. So I just had that, like anything is possible. I just have to like try and go and figure it out. And I think that has to do with, you know, just kind of my mom not putting limits on my abilities.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it is definitely a skill to kind of understand that you can try things, but I think probably what it sounds like happens for you is if you do fail, right? If you do have a failure, how you kind of move forward. You said you try things and they sometimes fall apart. Mm-hmm. How do you handle when something fails?
You know, I can't always, I don't know if I'm the picture perfect mentor in this area. Mm-hmm. I have to be honest. I think that in the past, I, you know, as you mature in your business, you get beat up sometimes, you know, sometimes your innocence gets taken away the longer that you're in business. Yes. And so I think that I had a lot more resilience in the beginning, and I still have that same resilience now, but sometimes it takes me a week or two to process a loss or a failure. Mm-hmm. And I feel like an idiot, and I go through all the emotions of, you know, even if I lose a team member, like a personnel member, I'm pretty much my own worst critic. Yeah. Like, man, I was the reason. I messed it up. Mm-hmm. Am I even a good boss? Should I even be a CEO? I go through all those things. I'm just not, you know, I'm just like everybody else that goes through all those feelings.
Of course,
But what I do is that I know my responsibility to my company. Yeah. And at the end of the day, that is what keeps me driving forward, because when you decide to start a company, I don't think people take it as seriously as they should. Like, you're deciding to be responsible for those customers. It's not something like that I could just quit, or I could just turn off the lights and say, well, that my business is over. Only if it was, you know, maybe the first year or two and it didn't work out. But, you know, as a business owner, like, the option of quitting is not really there. It's not really there. Yeah. And sometimes you just want to be like, I just want to quit. I would just be, you know what I'd be? I'd be a great barista at Starbucks. I would be great at doing something really low key, and my life would just be way less stressful.
Right.
And it's okay to think those thoughts sometimes, but at the end of the day, there's very little people, a very small percentage of people that have the ability to be executives or to run a business. And I think that we have to just wipe off our sweat and our wounds and just keep going for as long as we can do so.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love what you just said, because I think it's really important that people understand that you can have a hugely successful business as you do and fall flat on your face sometimes, and then say, okay, well, how do I move forward? And it sounds like for you, you are able to pick yourself up and dust yourself off because you feel a sense of responsibility to what you have built, to your team, to your customers, to all of the people you serve. Right. And that's an amazing answer, right? That is something that I think, you know, people do wonder, like, okay, how do you move forward when you've had a setback? So
and I think that is it's a trait, a characteristic that I wish more team members had, not just entrepreneurs or employers or executives. You know, I think that the lack of responsibility of, you know, let's say you work at a company and you had a bad day or a bad week, is really go talk to your boss, try to work it out. I think a lot of people give up too quickly, and then they leave their boss hanging, or they leave their team members hanging. And, you know, they're doing, I know it sounds everyone, it's all about, you need to take care of yourself. And I agree with that. But I think that you also have to be responsible for your team or the commitments that you've made to society.
Yeah.
That's my personal belief. I know it kind of goes against a little bit of what's out there in social media right now, which is like, take care of yourself and kind of don't care about anyone or anything else. But for teams to work together, you have to care about each other.
Oh, I mean, I think that that's a very fair perspective. I mean, I don't think anyone would argue that you have to build trust and integrity within a team in order for there to be for that to be a successful team. So, you know, I think, you know, one of the things that I have heard from talking with a lot of successful women like yourself is that failure is just part of the journey. It is not, you know, it is not catastrophic. It is not like, oh my gosh, I have failed. That's it. And I think that also, to your point, that comes with experience.
Yeah. You will wake up tomorrow and you will have to handle it.
Yes.
You know, the problem's going to be there and you're going to handle it the best that you can. And it's going to be okay.
What advice would you give to women who are looking to launch their own businesses or their own brand?
I think the advice that I would give is, if you're really serious about it, be willing to dedicate the next 5 to 10 years of your life for it. You know, whatever age you are right now, think about your life in 10 years from now and say, could I, you know, do this? Could I do this for the next 10 years? Because I didn't know how my business would grow. I didn't know it would transform into skincare and all this. Your business will transform. I didn't know I would be working in retailers. You know, I didn't know anything other than my goal was to constantly make more revenue. I was like, great, we made $5,000 last month. This month I want to make 10,000. I want to make, you know, and just hustling toward those goals. I knew nothing of what this would become. And still today, I have no idea what will be of Teami next year.
Yeah.
You know, every new product we launch changes the trajectory. Every new, like, we have a distributor in Dubai that is huge distributing our products. Who would have known? Yeah. I would have never known. That is not even something, opportunities arise. They just, you know, and as long as you're in the game, those opportunities can fall into your lap or you can chase those opportunities. So I would say to any entrepreneur or woman wanting to start their own business is, you know, can you dedicate 5 to 10 years? Because otherwise you're not gonna get to see necessarily really the fruits of your labor. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and recognize that there is some runway you need ahead of you in order to really be successful. You can't, it's not overnight success. Everyone thinks that things are overnight successes, and you can have a product, as you have had, that just hits and it's great. But then how do you move forward and expand upon that? As you said, each product you launch changes the trajectory of the company.
Totally.
That is such an interesting way to think about it, and one where it shows that you're in it to build it, not to be a one and done type of situation. Can you talk a little bit about any advice that you have for people who are starting a business and looking to grow their social media presence?
Yeah, of course. So a couple of things that might seem like very obvious, but really helped me. And again, I'm no genius. I looked at blogs and articles, and Instagram was way different 8 years ago. I would say it was much easier to navigate than it is today. A lot easier to be found. There's a lot more competition in the space. But even then, even 8 years ago, what differentiated the way that I managed my social media account for my business, not myself. I am not an influencer. I'm not a celebrity. I always was interested in growing the business account, is that the way I would write to the customer, the way I would write captions was very much like I was talking to a friend. And that always tended to do well. And I would always, be engaging, ask questions at the end of the caption in order to get people to comment. And everyone talks about that these days. Like, you gotta have a call to action. I didn't even know what a call to action was. I was just like, in any conversation, if you want to have a back and forth conversation, you need, if I just talk about myself and I'm not asking the other person a question, how am I going to have a relationship with that person?
Yes.
So that was just like communication 101 to me. And that really worked.
Yeah.
And I very much recommend posting 1 to 3 times a day.
Oh,
and
okay.
That was true then, and that is still true now.
Okay.
So start with 1, even on a personal account, like I should be doing this, I'm not doing this, but you got to post 1 time a day at least. Yeah. And the best is 2 to 3 times a day. And post, using a calendar that I use a product called Sked Social. There's many out there that do this. I don't necessarily use the best one. It's just the one that I've been using for literally almost this entire time. So it has all my history, so I can go back and look at stuff. So I decided not to change, but schedule out your posts ahead of time as much as possible, and be active on social media so that you can be found. Not posting will not get you found. Even it's not, there's the customer service aspect of it. Right. But there's also every time that you comment back to someone or you DM someone back, they get a notification. So that's also how you stay top of mind. And Teami, because we didn't have capital investment, we didn't have the best packaging. I was running it from my house. It's a very much a startup. We didn't have ego. Like, we're so cool. We don't need to respond to people. Like, we're fancy. Like, Teami's not fancy. Teami's your next door neighbor. Teami's the girl that shops at Target. Teami's your girlfriend that wants to know what happened with your breakup. Like, we're that girl. So we just never had too much of an ego to communicate with our customers. And really, I really took advantage of that in the early years, where other companies were not interacting at all with their customers. Now it's a different ballgame. Now everyone is. But it really differentiated us because it really got us a lot of community support.
What would you say your personal superpower is?
I think my personal superpower is getting something done. I have almost like a, tunnel vision. Hey, I just like with the Ulta story, I want to get into Ulta and just kind of continue to follow up until I get that thing done. And it might take me 6 months to get it done, but eventually it happens. Yeah. And so I think my approach to, I really want this done and not backing off, or not taking it seriously how long it takes to get it done, but it gets done in the end.
To run a business, I know we talked about this a little bit earlier. There's an enormous amount of emotional energy and physical energy, but emotional energy that you put into it. It is therefore, I think, so important to have some tapping into sort of a self-care, self-awareness, so that you can be as successful as you want to be. Do you have any practices that you follow for being helping yourself be aware and self-aware of what's going on with you, or self-care? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for me, it's setting aside time to exercise. And whether that's, early in the morning or at night when I come home from exercise, from work, that allows me to kind of disconnect. And it's funny because a lot of the time I'm thinking about my business when I'm exercising, but it kind of takes me away from the problem and gives me some space. Yeah. And aside from that, I'm a pretty spiritual person. And so I, in my own spiritual ways, I'm able to calm myself down if I need to. But the exercise is probably number one for me. And eating healthy and, maintaining my wellness when something bad is going on is extremely important. It's not always easy. Of course, sometimes I binge out on ice cream when I'm having a bad day. But yeah, making sure that I take care of myself.
Yeah. I love that. That is great advice. I mean, what's next for you? What do you see as next?
Q4. No, just kidding.
The holidays are around the corner.
That's right. I mean, they just creep up on us and then it's like crazy go time. But what's next for Teami? I think just continuing to launch new products and we're trying to get into as many retailers as we can. And so we have some very fun, exciting retailers that I can't name just yet that we're launching in at the end of this year and early next year. And continuing to expose the brand to as many, Americans and international people as possible and grow it as like I said, as much as I can with my own two hands.
I love that. And you know what, Adi, I'm going to put it out there because I have been thinking about your brand and your products as you've been talking. And I would expect to see your products on the shelves at Target. I would expect to see your products on the shelves at Walmart. I expect to see your products in these retailers. So I'm going to manifest it for you.
Love it. I love it.
That is where I expect to see Teami products. Well, Adi, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. If people want to follow you or learn more about Teami, what is the best way for them to do that?
So my personal Instagram is at Arezzini. You can always comment or DM. I answer everything just like how my company would answer. And you can always check out my company at Teami Blends or go to our website, teamiblends.com. and check out our products. And I'd love for you guys to join the Teami community.
Well, thank you so much. I cannot wait to see what you go and do next with the brands, Adi. Congratulations on what you've built so far. It's truly inspiring and incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate it.